Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. Renowned writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie has said her first ever children's book titled Mama's Sleeping Scarf came to life during a moment with her daughter.
This was my mother, James was my father. It's my way of honoring my parents. And I think for me, this book was also a way of writing for my daughter as a daughter. And I just loved the resonance of that. So this book really came from, having my daughter, and I would write little things. If she did anything interesting when my daughter was born, I would write it down. I still do, actually. She's 8 now, but I still write down things that are interesting that she says or does. And so I looked at those notes after my parents died, and there was something about it that I felt so lost, without my parents. And I don't know how it became so connected, but telling the story of my daughter just became so important. And it's based on the day in the life of my daughter. And there's the characters in there that are based on my parents. And so it's very emotional for me, actually. Yeah. It was different. It was not easy. I thought it would be easy, but it wasn't. So very different, very different. I had to put myself in an entirely different creative mind space. I'm used to wordiness, I like to, and so the first draft that I wrote, which I read to my daughter and she was bored by, but the editor said to me, you just really need to scale back. Children's books need to be more immediate. You need to get to the point. You can't, you just need to really cut out a lot of the fluff. And so I really needed to do that. And also because it's a picture book, it's actually a book that's supposed to be read to children more than, it's a picture book. And I learned also that for picture books, repetition is essential because young readers really like repetition. And it's not something that I do as an adult fiction writer, so I had to learn that. But I liked the experience because it's nice to feel that you're stretching your creative muscles a little bit.
Did your daughter get an input? And what was the process like?
Okay, I'll try and answer both very quickly because I admire a woman with audacity. You were asked to ask one question and you asked two. I think more women should do that because you just never know when you'll be lucky and somebody will actually answer the two. So, so very quickly, the first... There are a number of books I loved. So 2 books that I really loved this year. A book called Small by Small by Ike Anya, which is a memoir of his time sort of becoming a doctor in Nigeria. It's very moving, very, very detailed, very humane and human. I loved it. And the second book is by a journalist in the US called Howard French, and the book is called Born in Blackness. And it's a history. It's kind of a narrative history of Africa, and it's just a book everybody should read. It's engaging because I don't want to say alternative history because it's really not alternative, but it tells the stories of Africa that haven't been told and tells them in a way that I think appreciates the humanity of Africans while not romanticizing us. I really love it. So 2 books. Did my daughter have... Yes. Yes, of course she did. She didn't like the first draft. That was the input she had. I said to her, do you like it or is it boring? She said, it's boring. And then to make me feel better, she added just a little bit. She said it was a little bit boring. I think I want to start by questioning this expression that we seem to now really like, that life happens. Because I sometimes worry that we use that as an excuse. Doesn't life always happen? So someone said, I don't read because life happens. But I think that reading should be part of life happening. And so for me, it's partly inspiration, and also it's not so much a schedule as it is discipline and commitment. It matters to me, and so I make time for it. When I was an undergrad, I was taking care of my nephew, going to school full time, and so I would stay up until about 2 in the morning writing because I knew I would have to wake up to go to school and come back and be with my nephew, and then cook dinner, and I wouldn't have time. So I made sure to stay up until about 2 a.m. every day to write. Did it mean that my sleep was shortened? Yes. But it mattered to me, so I made it happen. So I think if something matters to you, you make the decision to make it happen. there's so many excuses, right? Life really does happen. Nigeria is really difficult and becoming even more difficult. One wonders why. But I think I think determination. You make it happen. And I don't like to sort of I don't like to dwell on all the reasons why I can't write, all the reasons why I'm not writing as much as I would like to, because there are those reasons. I mean, life does also happen to me, but you make, if you value something, your actions show that you value it. I think also as writers, sometimes we're in a rush. We sometimes think that we should be doing more than we are doing, or that we should have had more books published. And I don't think that's true at all. I think that with writing, quality by far is much more important than quantity. And my parents indulged me, right? But you really, you need to watch people, listen, but really watch human beings. People are fascinating, and people are so different and varied. So it's really important to watch people, especially if you're going to write realistic fiction. So I do that a lot. I mean, just being here, characters are things are emerging and bubbling in my head.
I didn't see you as somebody who will take up a chieftaincy title. So when you took up the chieftaincy title, I was like, oh, really?
Maybe I should say that if I were a man, I wouldn't have. And so I wanted to. Well, first of all, I was honored that my hometown. I'm very rooted in where I come from. I'm a very, very, very proud Anambra Igbo woman. And and so when my hometown, and I grew up, we went to the village for Christmas, we went for Easter sometimes. And my father, who even though he was a professor and we had a house full of books, my father, it was so important to him that we knew who we were.
Chimamanda Adichie is known for various works, including Purple Hibiscus, Americana, Half of a Yellow Song, among others. The star-studded event took place at the French Center in Ikoyi, Lagos. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.